the Jacksons and Blame It on the Boogie. We're live at the Holkham Festive Food Fair, and they are spread right across the North Norfolk countryside and can give your morning porridge a bit of a buzz. Can you guess what I'm talking about? Yes, bees. And Lee's Bees is here at the Holkham Hall Festive Fair this morning, and Lee Goodsall is the man behind the company. Hello.
Good morning.
And I did just check your name, because it's always good to make sure the name on the jar is, in fact, the name of the person behind the company.
It helps.
It does help. Tell us a little bit about Lee's Bees then. How long have you been going now?
I've been keeping bees since I was about 11 or 12, and on and off been keeping bees ever since then. And then the last few years, it's got bigger and bigger, and sort of really going at it full time now.
Whereabouts are you based then?
I'm based at Norfolk near Swaffham, and then the bees are all over the place. They're up until midsummer they'll be all over Norfolk, some in Lincolnshire, some in Essex, and then in the late summer they'll go up to the Peak District to work heather. And yeah, so they're quite well travelled.
My two favourite places in the world, Norfolk and the Peak District. I should be a bee, shouldn't I? And what was it about beekeeping that appealed to your 11-year-old self then? My
best friend kept bees, and so like all boys of that age, you just want to do what your best friend is doing, and that's how I got started. And I got a colony of bees from a man who I'm not sure really should have sold them to a 11-year-old boy. They were the most evil, nasty bees I've ever encountered. But it got me going, and it was a baptism of fire, and since then it's been something that's given me mostly a lot of pleasure. Occasionally can be rather frustrating because they don't read the same books as we do, and they don't do everything they're meant to, but largely it's a very lovely way to earn a living. That might be something that you mentioned there, that they were a nasty batch of bees when you were 11, but that might be something that perhaps puts people off, not being sure how to actually keep the bees safely for both themselves and for the bees. How complicated a process is it? It doesn't have to be complicated. You can make it complicated, but it isn't the sort of thing that you should really just go and do without having a look into it. So I think anyone that wants to get into it should join a local beekeeping association, get their hands on some bees, get their head in a hive before they actually take the plunge themselves, because they might find they don't enjoy it, or they might find they're allergic to the stings. All sorts of possibilities, but generally if they're not allergic, then I think most people will find it's something worthwhile to do. And what I love about coming to events like this and food fairs and meeting people like yourselves who are selling honey is just the array of different types of honey that there are compared to what you'll get on a supermarket shelf. Just tell us what you've got here and how different those tastes and aromas are. Okay, well, we've a lot of different honey there. I don't blend any of the honey, so depending on what the bees have been working, we get completely different colours, flavours, textures. So we have borage honey, a general floral honey, sea lavender honey, ivy honey, and also heather honey. And you'll see, I mean, it doesn't work on radio, but looking at them, there are a complete range of colours through from almost clear through to a very dark colour. And textures too, because obviously you have set honey and runny honey. Yeah, exactly. All honey starts out runny, and part of the natural process is for it to solidify over time. If you see honey that stays clear for a long time and it isn't borage honey, then be suspicious, because it's been overheated and
that's
messed
interesting.
around with. Are people often surprised when they come along and see a company like your company and just how different honey can be when it's done properly? Yes, I mean, it happens a lot, and I think if people have only seen honey in supermarkets, they think that honey is just honey. It has that weird flavour that supermarket honey has, and it's that, as far as they're concerned, is honey. They then taste all of the different honeys here, and they are generally blown away by it, and converts from that point on. Which tends to be your most popular? Luckily, everyone reacts to different flavours in different ways, so there's a huge spectrum of flavour, but there is generally someone that will love one of it, and there are some equally that will hate some. What's your favourite? That's a really difficult question. I like them all for very different reasons. So I don't have a favourite. I just enjoy all of them. But the cutcomb honey, the borage cutcomb, the texture of that to eat is incredible. And then the ivy cutcomb honey, which is hard, weirdly works very well with blue cheeses, and it's completely counterintuitive, but an amazing sensation.
Now, the ivy honey there, which is a sort of a pale colour, a set honey, I'm instantly drawn to that because I remember when I was a child, one of my friends, I used to go and have a play date round her house, and her mother would always do us a thick cut slice of toasted bread and slather it in a honey just like that. So my childhood memories are of enjoying honey like that on buttered toast, and you can't beat it.
No, I think, I mean, it's one of the few things that is sweet and enjoyable and actually very good for you as well. Yeah. So it's a really wonderful combination.
Well, I hope it's a very busy weekend for you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us this morning, Lee Goodsall of Lee's Bees. Wonderful smells.